Hi and welcome to ECCB Connects. What is your understanding of wealth? Do you know the steps that you can take to create wealth for yourself and your loved ones? This week, insurance advisor at Sagicor Life Inc, Quinn Martin, discusses how you can create, manage, and protect your wealth.
It's the 2023 ECCU Bank of the Year Awards, and we need you to help us select the recipients. The ECCU Bank of the Year Awards recognize commercial banks across the region that have made outstanding contributions to the overall development of the people they serve. This year, commercial banks across the region will be recognized for their exceptional service in these categories: corporate social responsibility, customer service, financial education and empowerment, support to micro, small, and medium enterprises, and technological innovation. To vote for your favorite bank, visit the ECCB Connects Facebook page or the ECCB's website. You have until Friday, 20th October to help decide which bank will receive the 2023 ECCU Bank of the Year Awards. Hurry up! Make your vote count. Log on and vote today.
Quinn, welcome to ECCB Connects.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Okay. At the launch of the ECCB's 40th anniversary celebrations, Governor Antoine issued a call for all the people of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union to be involved in what he called the Big Push. And one of the pillars of the Big Push is wealth creation. The Big Push, he says, is what we need to do to take our economies to the next level. Wealth creation. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Sometimes people want to shy away from talking about wealth and riches, but it's with us and it's important. We went across the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union to talk to some people about their perception, their understanding of wealth. So let's listen to them first.
My understanding of wealth is having my desired needs at my fingertips. There are no limitations, there are no objections, and those needs that I have are being fulfilled.
Wealth is a word like happiness. It means different things to different people. Some refer to wealth as having income, savings, bonds, and investments, property. And my personal experience and thinking of wealth, when I look back to my life, coming from a home where I have not heard that word used much, I would say my understanding of wealth is where you see God in the picture of wealth, having obtained it from Him and being responsible, and through Him being able to invest and to save and to seek His will.
For me, wealth is being able to live well. You are able to live in a comfortable home. You are able to eat well, remain healthy. You can provide for your family. You have children. You need to educate them. Okay, healthcare is very important. So you live well. You also have insurance. So health insurance, life insurance, property insurance, okay? All these things that you are able to be at peace, you are able to be stress-free. So all these things to me constitute wealth.
Wealth is basically the abundance of money and having the financial means to get through life.
Wealth creation refers to an initiative or a set of initiatives that can be undertaken by an individual or a group of individuals to ensure that they have a secure financial future in the long term.
So we've heard from the people. What's your perspective on wealth?
I believe that they have a fundamental understanding of what wealth is. From my personal perspective, wealth is the creation, or actually the accumulation of money, the accumulation of productive assets. It is something that is geared toward fostering long-term financial stability, health security, as well as building generational wealth.
You spoke about money. We are all familiar. We know what that is. You also mentioned productive assets. What qualifies as productive assets?
Productive assets specifically relate to an investment in something that is going to increase in value over time. So if you're looking at real estate, we all know that if you purchase a good piece of land, over time it is going to increase in value. Another important productive asset is life insurance. Life insurance is a tool that guarantees the policy owner some financial stability, a bright future for their loved ones if they pass on. And there are several different types of life insurance policies that can be invested in, whether it is a whole life plan that provides protection throughout the entire lifespan of the insured individual, or it is an endowment plan that pays a lump sum of money to the policy owner at the end of a specific period of time. These types of investments yield and cater specifically to one's financial stability or the beneficiary's financial stability, and are instrumental and important resources to tap into on the life insurance end to guarantee one wealth for the future.
When we encourage people to save and invest, especially save, we often hear that, oh, it's difficult for them to save, they can't do it, they have so many challenges. What are some of the, based on your experience, some of the common issues that can pose a challenge to individuals who are trying to create wealth?
Some of the challenges that persons might encounter might involve their day-to-day responsibilities, taking care of their children, paying their bills, paying their rent, paying their mortgage. These things tend to take up a lot of the income that persons have that they could otherwise make investments in. In order to mitigate that, I think persons need to have a solid plan. They need to have a budget in place, and they need to adhere to that budget religiously so that they can stand the best chance of being able to invest in their financial future and the well-being of their loved ones.
It requires quite a lot of discipline.
Absolutely. Discipline as well as sacrifice, because saving is not always easy. You know, there are things that you might want to purchase on impulse, things that might not even be as important as your future financial well-being. So you have to be disciplined enough to know where you want to go, what you want to achieve, and recognize the amount of money that is needed for you to get to that destination, and to commit yourself to that plan to get to the finish line financially. You can do simple things. You can start small. Personally, when I come home, I have a small bucket that I put coins in. Any coins that I come home with, they're in my pocket. I dump them into the bucket, and you would be surprised to see how much those coins will accumulate at the end of the year. So imagine you accumulate maybe $800 in coins at the end of the year. Over the next 10 years, you're talking about $8,000. You're talking about something that could give you the financial security that you need in the event of an emergency, or even something that you can pass on to a child, use for school expenses. That can fulfill a need that you have at that time. So start small, save your coins, save the small amounts that you have, and you'll be surprised to see how much it will accumulate to over time.
Of course, you cash them in at the bank.
Of course.
Or the
cash
credit
it in.
union.
Yes, you definitely can do that.
Let's go back to the people of the region. Some of them have shared with us what they are doing to create wealth, and you have outlined some of the steps that need to be taken.
Yes, you can have savings, and for those who don't have that type of wealth around them, education is one way that you can use to create wealth. And so to create wealth, you must have that positive mindset that no matter what obstacles come your way, then you can go after what you want. My own was education, but somebody else can be investing in property, bonds, but whatever that dream is that you have, you can create your wealth.
Small businesses are an excellent way to help you on your path towards wealth creation because it allows you to have additional income. So if you're working and your business is like a side hustle or a small business that allows you to do both, then great, because you maximize your earning potential. You have additional monies that could be saved and invested, but it also takes discipline because you want to make sure that you're budgeting and you're following good financial practices.
There are many ways that you can create wealth. Two of mine are to invest and save. It's important to put something aside. It's important to think about your future. Secondly, making wise choices. It's important to make decisions about generating wealth and about saving, about money in general.
Besides saving a percentage of my salary, I have a small business initiative that I do at least 3 times a week. And with that, it's an additional income where it helps me to be more prosperous.
Quinn, we've just heard from people of the ECCU some steps they're taking to accumulate wealth. Your feedback?
I think that they are on the right path. Most of them understand the importance of saving and of having a plan in place. So I absolutely think that they are on the right journey toward creating wealth.
Okay. Wealth creation is one thing, Quinn, but managing and keeping that wealth and having it to pass on to your loved ones, that's another thing. What advice do you have for people in terms of managing their wealth and ensure that they maintain it?
Well, I would say that that is even the most important thing, because it is all well and good to accumulate wealth, but if you lose it, then you're back to square one. So how do you manage your wealth? The first thing you want to ensure is that you have a system in place for that wealth to be passed on to the loved one or loved ones that you want it to go to. That might involve creating a will. On the life insurance end, it might involve ensuring that you have the right beneficiaries assigned to your death benefit. You can also tap into resources like immediate annuities. An immediate annuity ensures that if you have a lump sum of funds that you would have derived from an investment, you can then dump that into a fund which would immediately pay you out a monthly pension for the rest of your life, as opposed to running the risk of depleting that lump sum that you would have received from your investment. So those are a few key steps that persons can utilize, as well as looking into high-yielding interest accounts, accounts that might pay you compound interest as opposed to the regular interest that your traditional banking institution might pay you. That way you're able to maximize on the investments that you made and the derivatives of those investments and see yourself making the best of what you would have accumulated.
Okay. Earlier you mentioned one of the elements of wealth. You mentioned some productive assets, and real estate was one of them. What can people do to ensure that they have their real estate, that they keep it?
To keep your real estate, you want to make sure that you set up a will. You consult a lawyer, someone who can give you sound advice on who will become the owner of those assets after you pass on. Too many times we see where persons pass away and the property is left, but persons are arguing over the property, or there is confusion in the probate system. You want to make sure that you eliminate all of that confusion by getting a will and seeking legal advice so that you can put the necessary things in place to ensure that the right persons would attain those assets when you pass on.
Quinn, I recently came across a post on Facebook with this famous African singer. He's wealthy, of course, and he was saying one of the ways to keep your wealth is to be stingy. I don't know if we want to ask people to be stingy, but what are some behaviors that you will encourage people to desist from in terms of to help them maintain their wealth?
Well, before answering directly, I would say as much as it is important to be stingy, you also have to make investments. So I think you have to balance both. You have to be stingy, you have to save adequately, but you also have to make the right investment with your funds. Now, in order to ensure that you don't lose your funds, some of the steps that you can take is creating a budget. You want to make sure that you know where your funds are going on a daily basis, on a monthly basis. You want to have a clear-cut understanding of your expenses so that you can know how much you have to pledge to your priority expenses and how much you can save and you can spend to leisurely activities. So I think that first and foremost, having a plan and having a budget will set you on the right journey to ensuring that you don't misuse your funds and end up in a situation where you depleted the wealth that you created.
So can I splurge a bit?
Of course, and that is what the plan should allow you to do. You should have some money available to be able to splurge a bit, but you should also have that financial safety net where you know that even while splurging, you have some money set aside for emergency situations as well as for your long-term financial stability.
Quinn, as we wrap up, any final tips in terms of what people can do to create and maintain the wealth that they've created?
I just want to encourage the general public to start creating wealth as soon as possible. It doesn't really matter how old you are, because wealth can be created in the simplest of forms. Even if you are constrained in your budget and the amount that you can save, putting a little something aside can accumulate enough over time that you can reinvest or that you can even pass on to your loved ones so that they can make better use of it. So don't be deterred by your age. Don't be deterred by the fact that you might not have saved well in the past. Take the opportunity now to put something aside to create wealth for the future.
Quinn, thank you very much for speaking with us on ECCB Connects.
It is a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Celebrating ECCB at 40.
Did you know that the third governor of the ECCB is Timothy N.J. Antoine, a national of Grenada who assumed office in February 2016? Now you know. Celebrating ECCB at 40.
Here's where we end this week's episode of ECCB Connects. This week we discussed wealth creation. Here are some key points. Wealth is the accumulation of money and productive assets. Productive assets include land, property, investments, and life insurance. Have a budget and stick to it. Prepare a will to ensure your wealth is transferred to your loved ones. Have a financial plan. And start now. Thanks for watching. We invite you to join us next week for another program.